Hi guys, it's Cryptobirb here and welcome to today's webinar. Everybody, I'm very happy to be hosting this very premium session with you. Okay, and the overall goal is to get you the overview about the Bitcoin chart. What's going to happen, in my opinion. Well, based on what was pretty much like what has been happening in the past days, in the past hours, okay, and how to refer to actually get some sort of like technical analysis properly out of this. And well, what many of you might find interesting, I'm going to actually just discuss the very Business Insider article that I kind of actually contributed to very recently, where I mentioned my potential gem list, okay, for the legendary alt season that I'm expecting to come in Q4. So everybody, if you are ready to get it going, if you're ready for the ride to hear about this, make sure to stay tuned and go, well, get ready. Okay, hope everybody's doing okay. Let me know where you're actually just coming from, where you're writing from. Actually, in Poland, there was pretty good weather today, if you ask me. Okay, there are so many people joining. There's about more than 507, almost 600 people and counting. So it's pretty interesting to see all the numbers, see all the people in the comments. Netherlands, Germany, California, amazing. Switzerland. Okay, there's already very powerful set. Okay, Pakistan, France, Spain, Uruguay even coming. So kind of like, perhaps a tip or an insight that you guys didn't know. Florida, Finland, Nigeria, amazing. Okay, so when I was celebrating 200K followers milestone, we kicked off amazing quality and a very successful round 2 of our celebration congress. Okay, we were back a year ago. We had a 100K celebration congress exactly a year ago, or kind of like almost exactly, because that was in September. And this year in April, okay, I think it broke, literally 200K followers. And that's where I said, that May 3rd to May 17th, we held, 14-day free trading congress round 2, which, for your information, brought 143 countries of participators in total. Okay, people who participated in the Congress, which were there were more than 7,500 people of everybody who committed and contributed, engaged actively in the Congress. Then it was 143 countries in total. Okay, that is pretty sick. That is pretty neat, if you ask me. Okay, like I could never imagine to be more blessed. Okay, for being able to speak to so many people at once, and share some love, share the knowledge, share the tips. All of it was for free. So just like this very webinar. So if you appreciate it, make sure you get it. Stay tuned on this very show. Okay, make sure leave some thumbs up as well. If you're going to appreciate it, for those who are new, make sure you actually hit the subscribe button, because right now we are going to go straight into the depths of Bitcoin's chart. Okay, so we are going to, guys, analyze the Bitcoin very quick, straightforward, to let you know again about the TA insights, what we can expect. Okay, the previous article of the Business Insider that I participated in, that I got featured in, actually regarded the Bitcoin situation. Okay, and I think we can actually just get a quick overview in there as well. But I want to get you some BTC chart analysis, if that is fine. Okay. So let me add it to the stream. You should be able to see the chart. Okay, and what was happening in the past days, hours, is we had this sort of rising wedge, which eventually is not a rising wedge. Okay. These rising wedges, whenever they happen on an undervalued asset after a very significant pump, which is still showing no signs of exhaustion, whenever there forms, it forms some slow moving, slow momentum movement of the rising wedge that many people read as a rising wedge. What it usually does, it usually gets the stop losses out. Okay, if it gets the stop losses out, it triggers the stops and it squeezes the shorts. Okay, so right here you can tell that this beautiful upside candle, this very solid, like 100% bull dominated candle on the 4 hours, okay, literally gave a positive breakout signal based on the price action, and it had just made new high, okay, and confirmed it on an intra or should say underlying basis, on an underlying time frame. Okay, confirmed it with a close above, because what you can see is you have some sort of like a resistance, let's say, and when you see a candle at one point just attempting before the candle closes, attempting a breakout, but then eventually it becomes this sort of like a situation that it has the body beneath or underneath the resistance, and it has just a upper wick, then this is what we call the fake out. And these fake outs usually are something that you can come up with a local tops, okay, just like you saw the local fake out in here, just like you saw the local fake out in here, okay. It literally broke the resistance for a moment on an underlying time frame, okay, but it did not manage to hold it as a new support, so it failed. The bulls failed in there, okay, and the bears took over on a very local time frame. So knowing how it works, okay, we have a couple of curves, couple of averages marked in the chart, okay. If we go to my daily time frames, then you're going to notice some charts that I was literally throwing on Twitter for quite some time already. I think we can actually just go back to that. I cannot recall what I put in there, but what was that, like 33.5 maybe that I put in there, or 34, right? We can have a look. I was putting some charts in there. I can actually just go as well and check it on my personal trading channel on our Discord for the bird nest. I'm going to find some. Oh, there you go. There's a one article that we're going to cover in a second, but I want to get you the charts, okay? Want to get you the charts and give me the daily. There you go. Okay, so I was giving you I was giving to everybody the tip. Hope you can see the screen, okay, that the very first resistance area in there back in time was $33,000. Then the next one was 43 up to 45. Okay, so we saw actually something like this. Okay, so natural extension is now the targets provided by the volume profile analysis. Okay, and this volume profile analysis shows you nothing else but the resistance block coming at around 53. That's where it starts. Okay, this fat kind of like a fat shelf, the volume shelf, as my friend Jake Boyastik of Transpider would call it. This volume shelf was targeted, somewhere between the $58,000 and $53,000. This aligns with so many other reasons from the technical point of view, but we successfully bounced, reclaimed, closed the sessions through 33, 32, okay, where many bears that we were expecting, sub $10,000 all over again, and gave me so much hate and so for that, for standing on the opposite side. Okay, I literally pinpoint the very bottom if you think about it in there. Okay, there was this very tweet on 23rd of July. I, of course, had put it before on our Discord, but now what I said is odds of catching perfect bottom or lowers are lower than winning the lottery ticket, which is very true. And while so boys were hoping for 90% crush to buy cheap, macro indicators shout 60% cheap enough. And fear climax on 30K break, which is July 23rd, maybe at 300K too long, okay, term holdings just today. And I opened a couple of smaller leverage positions that I'm not going to close probably until $89,000 to $99,000 for Bitcoin. But what's most important is that you usually want to rely on the crowds on the contrary basis, because crowds are always right in the middle of trend, but they're always wrong about anticipating the tops and bottoms. They're always wrong about the extremes. Crowds are always wrong about the extremes, mainly because of the psychological reasons for the way that our psychological mechanisms work, for our risk aversion, for our FOMO, fear of missing out, for our greed, and for our inner fear. Fear and greed is what makes the market move, okay? So whenever the crowds fear in an over-exaggerated way, you usually anticipate this to be the bottomish area. You're not going to pinpoint the very bottom, okay? If you're lucky, you will. I actually got it on like 29.6 long in there, okay? Long, like heavily on 29.6, but it's irrelevant, okay? I did not get it to get the top, to get the bottom. It actually happened to be the very bottom locally, but that was not my aim, okay? So what we are seeing right now is we are seeing this local push through, first of all, the new high made. Okay, this is a daily chart, so the daily candle is not closed. But unless it fulfills this sort of like a candle that I was saying that refuses to close through the resistance, if it fails to close through the resistance, then it may mean further consolidation back towards the support clusters. If you look at it, the support clusters are kind of like tight. The orange curve is an MA50, is a 50-day moving average. It just tells you the average price on this 50-day past. Okay, so it tells you that based on its past 50 days of Bitcoin, the average price is 38,000. Okay, when you want to measure the very local leg up, the very final local leg up based on the average price based on volume, then you have the yellow curve. That is called the view up or anchored view up, a view up, okay? Anchored, because it's anchored here at the very bottom on the start of the final leg up of the range breakout. This tells you what is the average price of Bitcoin, the fair price of Bitcoin, the mean of this final leg up based on volume. And what it tells you is that it is 40,000.5. Guys, by the way, let me know if that makes sense so far for what I'm sharing. Okay, I just want to make sure that that everybody is staying on the same page with me. Okay, could you please confirm that in the chat that you're following what I'm sharing? Okay, just make sure about that. And in the meantime, kind of reminder to everybody who's just joined, who is new, the Burbness is about empowering people. Okay, we help you become better version of yourself every day, not only as a trader, but also as human. That is what we do inside our team. That is what we do for the people. That is what you may find valuable for these reasons, on what I share on Twitter for free for everybody, okay, to help you all save you time, save you years of mastering the skill and set that I got, for being the certified technical analyst. I realize that not many people have enough time to do it. So I really hope that if you appreciate it, just make sure you press the like button and hit that subscribe and so on and so forth to help to head our our YouTube algos pump our account, if you will. Okay, but there is going to be kind of like a giveaway later this episode, on this session, this premium webinar. Okay, I'm going to try out a new idea, okay, of a giveaway. So the winners who actually just stay tuned and stay with me for the rest of the show for the next 40 minutes, you're going to stand the chance, if you engage, to win a monthly subscription in the Burbness for free. Okay, this is something new that we're going to figure out as we go, so make sure to stay tuned. Back to the merit, okay? Back to the merit. We are talking about this volume shelf at around $53,000, $58,000, which is pretty much just the next resistance block, just like it says, okay? And this is the very same resistance block that I was sharing in here at the very bottoming process. Okay, these are the very same levels, if you think about it. Okay, so the broken support turns into resistance, and broken resistance turns into support. So the broken resistance back in there, okay, at around like a 50-day moving average when it was sub $35,000, it now serves as a support where it is, okay, around 38, 37. 40.5 is on this leg up average price. Ever since the Bitcoin peaked, okay, in May, this is the average price of Bitcoin based on its volume. So the volume tells me that ever since the Bitcoin peaked, the average volume is 42.3. Okay, so we have a couple of supports. We have a support in there. We have a support in there. Based on the average, we have a support in there. And there is a very serious support block. Okay, it's like a monster support block. And you also have the 200-day moving average. So based on the 200 days, past 200 days of Bitcoin performance, it tells you that $45,000 is a fair price. Okay, so it does make a lot of sense that, again, provided that you do not see a fake out, you see an actual close through on a daily basis, that a candle closes through the resistance and reclaims it hence on an intraday basis, that the next logical target is the cluster of resistances based on the volume in $53,000, $58,000. Okay, that sounds kind of like logical to me, if you ask me. Okay, so knowing of this, okay, if we go towards lower time frames, now I was talking about this wedge, and these wedges, people tend to short to fade the trend to catch the perfect top or perfect bottom. It never happens. Like if you go to the casino and if you go all in every single time and you have one in a million chances to win, then if you spend, if you go and sit there and play a million times, you only win once. That's by the nature of probability principles. So by the time you win, you will have already lost and wiped out all your generation's accounts, all your accounts, all your previous and upcoming generations accounts, right? So that is not worth the risk, if you ask me, right? Do never fight the trend because of that. Do never fight a trend, because eventually, why is it you that would sell the perfect tom on this planet while having 7 or 8 billion people almost? Okay, so think about it. So this rising wedge is a pattern. Whenever the chart pattern fails, remember that chart patterns are self-fulfilling prophecy. They work because we made them work. We love patterns. We love recognizing some sort of like repetitive formulas in our life, because that's the only way that we can expand it into the future. We try to analyze the future by comparing it with what we've experienced in the past. Nobody can tell what's going to happen in future for real, because nobody has a crystal ball. Okay, but what you can do, as a matter of fact, it is exactly why we love the patterns, is that you can reference something that you have already experienced in your life, and biologically speaking, your brain actually rewards you for that with shots of dopamine. This is what behavioral finance and actually like neuropsychology, just explains very deeply. Okay, so this becomes addictive. Spotting the patterns becomes addictive. And how it works in the TA side, is that the failed patterns, the failed wedge, the rising wedge in the textbook says that it is a bearish pattern. It usually is, but if it fails, right? If it is, then you measure just the base size, and you kind of like expect the base size to be here, just like in the case of all the breakdown. So you know that there is a somewhere target in there. Okay, and usually it just goes there because there is a support. But what is more important, okay, is that whenever the pattern fails and it fails to follow the regular solution, the regular unfolding, then these failed patterns tend to perform far better, okay, than the regular patterns. So there is a high chance that because this pattern failed, this rising wedge has already failed, okay, that because it failed, that it is going to go straight towards like this $58,000 block, okay, which is exactly what I was just hinting on the very 26th of May, okay, in a form of some simple process of retest, of a breakdown retest. Okay, so 50K retest from May 26th is slowly coming to realize right now. Okay, well, hopefully everybody keeps following through, and there's as well the other so many there's so many tweets, guys. Listen, I got the following. I got these almost 40,000 people following me on Twitter. mainly because of what I do for the long term. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen in the next fucking 5 minutes or next 1 hour. Okay, I'm not going to tell you either what's going to happen tomorrow, because why would I know that? Okay, but I can read the trends. I know that crowds are always wrong at the extremes. I've got enough exposure and enough experience in the field, okay, to be able to tell pretty much about the long-term side of it. Okay, so long-term reversals are something that I somehow have become known for, right? The very first kind of like shot, of me getting known on Twitter was that 11 months, like Bitcoin was bottoming out, okay, in December 2018 at around $3,000-$4,000. The 3120 was the perfect bottom on Coinbase, if I recall correctly. But people, literally managed to dig somehow the tweet from 11 months before, from January and February of 2018, where Bitcoin was trading around like $12,000-$15,000 when everybody was shouting 1 million tomorrow. Okay, I was talking about $3,000-$4,000 targets back then, and people managed to dig these tweets and figure it out. I actually forgot about them. They managed to bring that up, and said that, okay, this guy has some skills, it's worth following him, and that's where my account blew up. Okay, so and by the way, I mean, I love it. Many people actually just make like about the watches, right? Well, what's the watch thing? That is kind of like offside, off the topic, but I feel like this many people just get interested in that. What I love about the watches and the posting these RS7 peaks on tweets is that it triggers the engagement. I use it to keep growing the Twitter as well from the marketing point of view, right? I mean, people engage with the content. Most of the people are fucking salty about it that I managed to succeed throughout the past years of, I'm actually quite well-educated person. I'm an engineer. I finished my MBA designations as well. Right now, I'm one of the very few certified technical analysts in the space. I mean, I have good ground for that. But I know what triggers people. If I know that people are super salty and they come to hate, and all these watch peaks and everything, then I just usually throw it, mainly because people love to engage with that, right? And it pumps the numbers, and it just grows my account. And I mean, that is just the secret. Okay, moving on to the quick NUPL side. Okay, NUPL is a net unrealized profit and loss. So this is my top indicator. This is the indicator that I am going to use for the top prediction, that I'm going to use for for getting out of the market aggressively, liquidating all the remaining parts of the profits, okay, and making sure I run away with the profits gathered off the table right in time. So what it tells you, it compares, it is NUPL, net unrealized profit and loss. It informs you, just like it says, about the difference between the relative unrealized profit and the relative unrealized loss. So this metric can be also calculated by subtracting realized cap from market cap and dividing the result by the market cap described. So what it tells you is, long story short, put it simply, it tells you how much money is being left on the table by traders. And the bigger the ratio, the more money being left on the table. And the more money this is actually a two-way indicator, because it not only shows you the information for how much certainty people have or how much liquidity there is for the whales. Because if you're a whale, if you want to dump $100 billion position, then the only thing you care about is you care about the liquidity. Because if you dump it on the sideways whenever there's not much interest, in Q3 that people usually are on the vacation or something, then there's a risk that if you dump this $100 billion on an illiquid day, then you actually crash the market and you give away 50%. Because of a crash, you give away $50 billion of profit because of your mismanagement. Can you afford losing $50 billion because of realizing that at a bad time? I don't think so. So what you care about is you care about the liquidity. So this tells you about how much liquidity from the retail traders is on the market. And when there is the liquidity peak on the market, that's where the market peaks. Because the market peaks not because me dump on the market, because I dump, or because you dump, or because random $100 position owner dumps on the market, but it's because some dude decides to, literally flush $100 billion down the toilet. That's where the market tops or peaks. Okay, so knowing of that again, whatever the ratio, historically speaking, just goes over 0.75, that's where the market peaks, or that's where you have the most significant peaks. Okay, you had it in the 2011 peak at $32, right after which crashed, towards like sub $2 positions, like 1.98 was the floor. Then 2012, 13, rally towards like 12, 15 there. Okay, another two cases. Okay, so if you remember, I was telling about this, reminding me so much of this or of this. Okay, if I were literally to give you where I think this is current price action on the long term, then I say that this is the pre-final leg up move, in my opinion. Okay, the pre-final leg up move, just like it was in here. Okay, these three conditions, market stages, in my opinion, are similar patterns. And they are similar patterns as well coming from the liquidity side, on the NUPL side. You see that two kind of approaches followed, or should I say not followed by, but kind of like having some sort of like a consolidation in here. It's not that it literally crashes down, but it moves within some fixed frames for some time, right? And if I was to give you like the pattern that we are in, in my opinion, in some form of repetitive form here, all right? So it does make a lot of sense based on the liquidity to claim that, and based on the price action, that this $65,000, which I had repeated so many times, is not a peak. Okay, this was not a peak, but instead this was some sort of like a pre-final fourth wave of Elliott, if you will, for those who are Elliott wave practitioners, preparation before the final leg up shoots straight. Okay, so if I were to give you where we are, in my opinion, then I say this and this. We're still missing the final euphoria. We're still missing the final pump, which usually comes in quarter four, late quarter four. Okay, so late quarter four, later this year, I'm expecting the very final pump, everything bubble. Okay, and by the everything bubble, I mean Bitcoin pumping, I mean altcoins pumping. Okay, I mean every single DeFi, every single NFT or other, or just not yet existing category in the crypto, like security tokens or something, to pump. So if you have a look of what was going on Twitter, there's been pure euphoria about NFTs. Okay, so before we move to the Business Insider article and giving all the my peaks, my champ peaks, I want to let you know that with the NFTs, there has been nothing but euphoria, and this is peaking process. This is topping process. The wild, 100x, 1000x, 1000x kind of like NFTs, big peaks, selling for hundreds of millions of dollars. This is what the peak look like. Okay, this is what the peaks look like. And this is a peaking process. So if I were you and you were joining NFT game right now, you're joining late to start with. You're buying somewhere at the topish area, and you're not going to stay profitable for a longer period of time unless you realize the quick profits. But long story short, the NFTs have to crush. They really have to crush because this is euphoria. And this euphoria, I promise you, doesn't stay in the euphoric state for too long, because people, wise money, who have made hundreds of fucking $1 million on selling dick pics and framed in some shitty visuals, okay, and the random people on the internet calling it NFTs. They are wise about it. They know exactly what they are saying. They know that this is worthless and that they are selling it for $200 million. So show me one person who rejects that to realize the profit. So if everybody, like, this is what tops, peaks, the faster it grows. Like the NFTs were growing very, very fast, like exponentially for the past 2-3 weeks, 1 month, maybe 2 months. Okay. But the sooner and the sharper, the more vertical it goes, okay, the more vertically it goes down as well. So the higher, the more the bubble inflates, the bigger the boom, the bigger the hook, the bigger the explosion is going to be when the bubble bursts. The more blood on the streets is going to be. Okay, just like it was with the tulips the other day. You're right. Okay, so make sure you actually watch out and beware the NFTs in the right now, in my opinion. But I'm sharing that with you guys, okay? First of all, to keep you protected, because there are so many influencers, like so many fake gurus, literally, that are going to send you all those dick pics, for $100,000 each, okay? But this means, that it has to crash, and at one point it will crash. And but this is just this is just an example, very funny example of how the peak looks like. Okay, people are very complacent, and when they are very complacent, it means they are over leveraged. And when they are over leveraged, this is a perfect example of bull rumor. Unless this is a joke, if it is a joke, then excuse it. But if it's not, then this is actually a very good example live of how people behave whenever they are psychologically attached. This is called, from the behavioral finance, as an endowment effect. When you're endowed psychologically and refuse to reject it just because you're afraid of losing something that belongs to you. This natural resistance and aversion against realizing the profit. That is exactly what leads to the disaster. And I want to make sure to get you as much prevention as possible. Okay, so the moment that NFTs crash, they were crashed by 95%, 99%. Okay, but it's not going to be the end, because it's all cyclical. The hype is cyclical. The faster it grows, the faster it dumps. And at the same time, you are going to have the next session pump in everything bubble at the late stage of Q4 this year, in my opinion. So until the Q4 comes, okay, you're going to have the full reborn already stage of the end of the NFTs. The NFTs will have crushed and will have get reborn until the market peaks finally and tops out in the Q4 late. Okay, I promise you that. So everything bubble refers to all those altcoins, all the Bitcoin, Ethereum going to $10,000, $20,000, which is, in my opinion, more than likely. Okay, Litecoin going past $1,000. All the DeFi recovering and popping up, new DeFi, things going each and pulling each, 100x and 10x. It's very important to make sure you actually get the most valuable projects. And here's the drill. Okay, here's my Promise Business Insider tip. This is actually the old article. Old from August 5. So it's not old, not old at all. But there I was actually telling, I was revealing my thoughts over the long-term Bitcoin and how it's set to go $120,000 possibly, and how it's then to be followed by 80 to 90% downturn. Okay, but I also again want to get you we can actually just get it, I assume, from my personal trading channel, figure it out there. Okay, there you go, 5 altcoins that could surge by 10 to 100 times. And what I, written by Layla Maidan, and when I was working with Layla on that, these are some backstage insights, okay? When I was working with Layla on that, I was making her triple sure so that she puts in the text and highlights it, emphasizes it, that no returns are guaranteed. Okay, that the fact that I have certain projects, the fact that I believe certain projects will go up, it's irrelevant, to be honest. That's my personal bet. Okay. And I'm fine personally with keeping it at all. Like the DeFi part, the most gambling part, the biggest kind of like the risk bearers, the riskiest assets I have, which are in DeFi, because of their volatility, and the volatility is risk. Okay. There's something in finance that is called risk-adjusted return. It's not the return that makes you a good, profitable trader. It's a risk-adjusted return. And it's a risk-adjusted return because it doesn't matter if something pumps 100x if you literally risk your entire net worth and your grandma's, in heritage or something. Okay? It's risk-adjusted return. It's not only the return factor that matters, but it is a risk factor that matters as well. And you have to include it. Because if you have 100% exposure of your portfolio in something that can generate 100x for you, then fine, it may generate this 100x for you. But until it does, you may have already lost, your entire net worth because of the risk and the volatility. So the risk-adjusted return is something that it counts. And because I have already cashed out about 30% of my entire net worth before, for like ever since March, okay, like February and March, like whenever Bitcoin was going past $50,000, that was my long-term target. That was my long-term target that I decided like a year ago to liquidate my profits at. And that's what I did. That's what I was doing. Okay. So right now I'm fine with keeping 15% of my portfolio. Okay. 15% risk on my DeFi positions. I hope it makes sense. And for everybody, the percentages should be different, of course, because the money size that I'm talking for myself, it applies to only myself, because the risk management depends on the money you would have. Okay. For one person, for one group of people, 1% of risk would mean $100. For the other, it would mean $100 million. So we cannot really compare. Nobody can ever compare themselves truly, to be honest, because everybody, is different. And everybody has their own different reasons and kind of like ideas why they are doing the things. Okay, so it's very subjective, to be honest. But what matters in here is analyze, the altcoins that I actually believe in. Okay, so there we go. This is the Fair network, okay, which is a decentralized finance project, which is a DeFi project that actually offers blockchain as a service solutions that incubate startups, right? So they help you literally raise the other DeFi startups. So they are the platform that launches, and helps other startups grow in a space, which helps us, like as a whole, as the community, as the users, improve the space in total, right? So I was giving, the targets. I was giving the targets, or just reasons based on the making money, that it was extremely undervalued based on its 200-day moving average. Okay, there are so many charts that I had dropped before on Twitter, guys, that I don't think it's useful to get you that on the show for the 50th time. Make sure you can get it. You can get it. Right now it's actually around like 0.2. Okay, it's at the 20 cents. Its 200-day moving average currently is approximately around 40 cents. So based on the mean reversion and the statistical nature of time series data, okay, which is log normally distributed, usually it performs the mean reversion, which means that the price action oscillates around the mean. Okay, so the mean is generated by the oscillations, and what it means is that at one point, the mean is going to come back. I should say price action is going to come back to the mean, which is the exact reason for me being able to call, these deeps whenever people were expecting like this. I was saying, okay, mean reversion. And what happened? Mean reversion happened. Okay, so the mean reversion, whatever is extremely deviated on the upside direction over the mean, over the average, it is eventually going to come back to the mean because of its statistical nature of the volatility. Okay, so again, knowing of that, everybody, I want to make sure that you are very aware that this mean reversion is just like a locally kind of like a short-term play. But I do believe that whenever this 100x legendary everything odd season bubble, this DeFi mainstream Ethereum going 10, 15,000, Bitcoin going 90, 120 or more, Litecoin going past 1,000, all the DeFi pumping, all the NFTs that will have already, crashed and get full recovered, perhaps some other new seasonal occurrences on investment side on the crypto, all of it will pump, in my opinion, just like it did pump, everything was pumping 10x, in 2017 peak, because there is so much liquidity, there's so much money, with NUPL being far over, 0.75, that when you have the money saturated, market, when the market is fully saturated with the money, with the retail money, okay, then when the Bitcoin tops in one point, that entire capital that was trapped inside Bitcoin releases, and it spills like a milk over the table when you spill it. And it spills literally and goes flat, propagates on other assets and other regions. In other words, altcoins. Okay, so knowing of that, firm network is what I expect to pump heavily throughout the late stage of the Q4, same as linear finance. Okay, so just to be frank, I was not paid to show that. Okay, I was not paid to show that. These are the projects that I deeply, actually, personally believe in, and this goes beyond, obvious that nothing that I share should be regarded as a financial advice. Okay, this is an obvious risk disclaimer, and what I'm sharing is I'm sharing my personal beliefs and opinions. I don't frankly care what you're going to do about your money, because most of you are likely not going to follow my suggestions to buy the top, or to buy the bottom or sell the top, because most people would never do that, right? When I was saying and shouting out that bottom is in on the Twitter, 95% of the comments were telling me how fucking dumb I am, and that I was a damn fucking idiot for that. So they are right now probably the people who are following in the resistance, right? And who are moving into the resistance. So irrelevant, regardless of that, where to get it. Okay, linear finance for proved fundamental values. Okay, next to Radix DLT, EXRD or XRD, which is the layer 1 DeFi protocol. Okay, in my opinion, they are the set of three which I'm personally holding. Okay, that I discussed with Layla, the author of this article. Okay, and next to the Startera, actually I can get you the Twitters. Okay, so this is the firm network. This is the firm network. Okay, everybody can actually go ahead and follow them on Twitter if you want. If you don't like it, I'm fine with that. I don't get mad from the fact that you're following them. The linear finance. Okay. That's how it looks. I mean, again, this is the article that you can actually get some insights from. Radix DLT. Okay. And I have recently posted on our YouTube account, the Radix DLT, kind of like a monthly update. By the way, 19,000 subscribers. Make sure we put it actually higher. Let's make sure we break 20K subscribers as soon as possible. But I was doing the interview right here, right corner, with Pierce Art of this year over Radix DLT. And if you follow it, guys, 26-minute straight of stream, they are very, very eager about getting very big domination in the market. So this is not baseless, what I shared in there. And for the Startera, this is very powerful Polish project. I mean, Polish. It is actually a Polish project. It is, although it's a global project. It's not just restricted to Poland, let's say. But this is a gamifying platform for launches. Okay, with the help of NFTs, actually, it actually gets you the GameFi launchpad for Terra blockchain. So that is something that fixes and solves so many issues that you guys saw with the pancake swaps, with the over liquidity problems with overall the scams that were going off of the launch pods, this solves it. Okay, and similarly, Synapse Network, the SNP, okay, Synapse Network is something that is kind of like similar and run by one of the most reputable, or I should say, achieved, successful entrepreneurs in Poland and Europe and perhaps the world. Regardless, you're pro vaccines or anti vaccines, I don't care. He actually created with Molecule One, the Pavel, the CEO, one of his previous projects. He delivered, the chemical. I'm a chemical engineer, by the way. He delivered the chemical software based on artificial intelligence with a full database of the existing knowledge from the chemistry to be able to figure out the chemical reactions, the chains of chemical reactions, in order to come up with some sort of like solutions for the COVID vaccines. And these solutions were given as the software from Pavel to the world outside, to all the biggest pharma corporate companies, which utilized it and used for the COVID vaccine. So regardless, you're pro or anti, I don't care, that is kind of like big. So knowing of that, okay, knowing of all those 5 picks to kind of like get you some sort of like a wrap up, before we get the 5-minute straight Q&A, the peaks that I believe, would become like potential 10x. Like, listen, 10x, 1x is good, 50% is good. Like for average return of the past couple of decades, of an S&P 500 index, for how stocks perform on tech performs on average, it's like 10-12%. Okay, so when you are saying literally that you don't care, like go 10x or go home or all the bullshit like that, may God just forbid. May God save you, boy, because you're going to get like pretty disappointed, guys. Okay, so 10x, like 10, if you get 5x, if you get 2x, you would be already over the moon. Okay, so by saying 10x and 100x, it is something that I personally expect, which is possible to make it happen, knowing that how close to the lows these projects are. Okay, after the crashes or right because they've just launched, and that is to some extent, irrelevant, and no guarantee that you can go, 10x or 100x or even goes 2x. If the Afghanistan war or conflict, it expands and emerges, you're going to get like when the literally some crash happens, like this COVID black swan crash happens, nothing stops Bitcoin or other altcoins from crashing. Okay, and there's not going to be any 100x or 10x pumps. Okay, just think about it. Be rational. That's why you need to keep it low and on the portfolio exposure for them. Okay. Okay, listen up. There is entire variety for why I believe this way, that you can get on our free resources that it is being mentioned in our free newsletter, our free new infographics. Okay, this is probably one of the biggest gold mines of free infographics for traders you can get, literally print it on your wall and get it like infinite use out of it. Okay, for the chart patterns, like literally what is the very characteristic of a inverse head and shoulders pattern, just for an example. Okay, of facts about patterns and what it like and how it's different than flags and other triangles. But here's the altcoin hype cycles, and it literally tells you, like based on its historical results and records, that somewhere perhaps before the final peak happens on the market, this is the time that it can actually get the biggest buying the deep opportunity. So if you see NFTs crashing by 95%, you can scoop some of them. Okay, but historically speaking, the full rally starts with late Q4 historically. Okay, go ahead and guys, you check it out. It's all free on our website, theburbnest.com, under the resources. So make sure you actually stay tuned for that. as well, because the every few sessions, every few days, the new infographic comes out. Okay. Okay, listen, I'm going to take a couple of questions from the chat. Hopefully you appreciate it. And by the way, if you just joined, if you're new to this very channel, to our YouTube channel, make sure you hit a subscribe button. You actually leave some kind comments if you enjoyed it. That the fact that I'm spending my Friday night in my office talking to my computer right now. And remember to stay tuned for the next couple of minutes, because I'm going to throw a giveaway. Okay. So I'm going to take 5 questions and I'm going to respond to them very fast before I get you the giveaway details. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Your prediction for the highest BTC price in the coming bullish run, in the lasting bullish run, we mean, in the current bullish run. My opinion, I personally should, and bet $90,000 to $120,000, but Bitcoin tends to perform in the upwards direction far better than anybody expects, and it tends to perform in the bear markets far worse, or should I say, far, tends to go far lower than anybody expects either. So knowing of that again, okay, do you think that it will affect gaming NFT assets too, or just the stupid rocks and monkeys? I think it will impact the entire NFT sector. Okay. Do you think this will crash projects such as NBA Top Shots? I don't know what that is. I guess it's with regards to NBA. I think as long as it belongs to the NFT sector, I think it is going to crash as well. I prefer Burp over Radian. I appreciate it. I do this in hoping I kind of like dox myself fully on Twitter and hope that Twitter finally fucking verifies me, so that hundreds of thousands of people that are part of my community and audience on Twitter can actually stop being put at risk, at threat of being scammed by impersonators. Okay, so hopefully it helps. Okay. Let's see. Now that we talk about STT and Terra Network, what do you think about Luna price moves? I think it's been performing very good, and it's been shooting straight up, for the past weeks and days and months, and it's definitely a good time to look in some profits. Okay, if you are holding Luna and it pumps 10x while right when you're watching that, I suggest you take profits. What are your thoughts about Cardano? It's very hard to answer in a specific way, to give you a very specific answer to a not specific question. What are my thoughts? Like, do I like it? Do I like watching TV news about it? Do I like investing in it? Or do I think it's a good entry or it's a good exit? Like, guys, you cannot talk about money not using numbers. You have to be specific about it. How can I know what you guys mean about it? Okay, I don't want to be like, impolite or something, but it's impossible to give you a specific, concrete answer to an unspecific question. Like, I have no idea. Like, what are my thoughts over the Cardano or any other project? I like it, but I'm not invested. That's all. Okay. Okay. Do you keep BTC after the peak or go totally for cash? So until BTC peaks, I will have already withdrawn about 80 to 90% of my entire net worth out of crypto. Okay, period. As per the alt cycle, when do you feel it's best to enter? Which month? I highly refer you back to the website or to the website articles on a blog that we have, the website resources, because there is, I don't know which altcoin you mean. Again, it's in concrete, right? There is no one answer. Like, one altcoin can pump on Tuesday, the other one can pump on Wednesdays, for example. I don't know. Okay. Have you looked into Nord Finance? No, I have not. How about MTV? Do you believe would be bigger than Harmony One? I don't know. No idea. Does Superfarm also crash? I have no idea what Superfarm is. Do you think Hather is a good choice to invest right now? I don't know what Hather is either right now. Okay. And good choice to invest. Again, this is unconcrete question. Like, what money? Like, what time frame do you trade on the 1 minute time frame basis, or do you want to invest for 10 years? Or will you want to get in with $10 position, or you want to throw $100 million at it? I have no idea. Okay. Do you think we can see a deeper dip during the fifth wave? This is the last question, which you have previously mentioned we are in. We are in the fourth wave. We're not in the fifth wave. We are expecting fifth wave, in my opinion, the final leg up, just like the NUPL also suggests. The concept of confirmation and confluence is when you have different market readings, the fundamentals, on-chain sentiment, intermarket analysis, all the market correlations, and the technicals, they all come together in one place to show you the very one direction. This is the confirmation that I have been using for some time. Okay, and I do believe that whenever we see, I don't think we're going to see 60% crash until we see the bear market top, the bull market top, and the bear market start. I think that the next crash 60% we see is going to be $50,000 candle on a single day, on the very peak day. Okay, but until we peak, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. The higher we go, the bigger the volatility, the more 10% ups and down days you're going to see. So 10-15% declines, maybe 25-30 if it is flash crash from FUD, from the Afghanistan or other unpredicted events. But I don't expect anything like what happened in May. That's for sure. Okay, everybody. I want to let you know that for everybody who watched the stream, who stayed with me for this far, I want to let you know that you have an option to get 7 days free inside our community, exclusive community. Okay, so there is infinite amount of call setups that we share. The daily webinars, just like this one, but they are actually hidden to public. They are not released outside. People making money on a daily basis. Tidy Profit, big congrats to my buddy. He's my private mentoring. No, he's not my private mentoring student. He's just a very, very similar name, I believe, unless he changed it. But still, very well done for ADZ Knight. Okay. We have the fundamental analysis channel where we search for the peaks and gems that can potentially pull 10x, 100x as well easily, and they are very successful mainly because we have extremely talented people like Crypto Penguin, for the fundamental analysis. We have the news channel. We have the exclusive resources that you can use. Okay, my personal trading channel. You also have the chart requests where you can, like my team and myself, engage to actually get you more free time, on your hands to spare. With the charter request, saves so much time. We have the market scanners that you can use to literally tell you what to long, what to short, what's relatively strong or what's weak. Okay, for crypto and for the legacy market, for the gold, for silver, for stocks, for commodities, for forex, and whatnot. Okay, you have all of it for free. 7 days. If you want to go enjoy it ahead, guys, 7 days free. Go right away to thebirdnest.com. There's a sign up free button on the top right corner. And go for it, okay? It's not going to charge you a penny. I promise you that. No credit cards required, no anything. Okay? Let me actually turn off the comment in here. And the giveaway time. The giveaway time before we disconnect. Let's try it. Okay? This is something that I have come up with right before the stream. So, guys, if you're watching that on YouTube, okay, if you're watching that on YouTube, you will have to stand the chance to win 1 month of exclusive Nest Club, okay, which is actually worth, for a single month, $130. If you want to win the $130 worth of exclusive Nest Club, okay, then there are a couple of conditions, very simple conditions. And I highly encourage you guys to be subscribed. You have to be subscribed. So there are 4 steps. Okay, you have to subscribe. You have to comment on YouTube. You have to press the thumbs up, and you have to get your notifications on. Okay, when you have these four elements: subscribe, comment, thumbs up, which is like, and bells on, put your notifications on our Twitter account. Okay, then I am going to actually randomly pick one person out of the comments, okay, and and grant the reward. Okay, I'm going to announce it on Twitter. So everybody, once again, if you want to go and win exclusive Nest Club free chance to win $130 worth of exclusive Nest Club, which is supposed to give you so much money in the future, okay, go ahead and leave it all on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, comment, leave the thumbs up, okay, and bells on to stand a chance to win it. And very soon I'm going to reveal the winners. And until then, guys, I want to thank you for participating in today's premium webinar. And I really am praying just that you don't mind that my wife does not kill me for staying so late, up in the office. So make sure you guys join 7 days free. Go ahead, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, and bells on our Twitter to stay with the chance of winning exclusive Nest Club 1 month. And it starts right away, guys, with this kind comment. I hope you appreciated my time. I hope you appreciate all the knowledge. And that's it. That's all I got for you, folks. Stay safe, stay blessed. That's all. Cheers. Bye.